Welcome back. Well, yes, indeed. This time out, Bernard Mikko, a member of the People's Democratic Party, joins us from Abuja. Morning, Mr. Mikko. Thank you for joining us. Well, tell us from your perspective, why are members not happy with the emergence of the new chairman of the PDP?
Thank you, Chamberlain, for having me this morning. Well, our own case is not whether members are happy with the emergence of the new chairman. We are worried about the processes that threw him up as the new chairman of PDP. Remember, on the 16th of December, there was a court ruling against Prince Uche Secondus acting as the acting national chairman of the party. And in that court judgment, the court declared that Uche Secondus cannot preside over any of the organs of the party. And what we saw in the last meeting that threw up the chairman was Uche Secondus taking the laws into his hands and presiding over NEC, National Caucus, and all other organs that threw up the national chairman. So you can say, to a large extent, that the processes are illegal and illegitimate.
Welcome back, Mr. Mikko. Bernard Mikko is a member of the People's Democratic Party. Well, Mr. Mikko, many would have thought that as the party trying to get themselves back in the front burner, would have considered all these other options and ensure things are properly done before they select or elect their chairman. But as it is now, how would you suggest that the party handles this challenge that they've got on their hands?
Oh, well, I can't hear you very well. But if I want to comment on the processes that threw up the new national chairman, I think the processes for us is largely illegitimate and illegal, because before this time, after the resignation of Dr. Ahmad Mezu, the acting national chairman, the deputy national chairman, took over as acting national chairman for 3 months. And the processes for the emergence of new chairman from the Northeast was stalled, up to the point that Barrister Gulak went to court, and he got a court judgment on the 16th of December. After which day again, the Secondus went to file for stay of execution, and that stay of execution was thrown out on the 27th of January, paving the way for Gulak to go and assume duties at the national headquarters of the party as the new national chairman. Now, if you want to commence the processes of the emergence of another new national chairman, the law is clear. There is a court order against Prince Secondus not to parade himself as acting national chairman of the party. And with that, it means that he cannot preside over the national caucus, he cannot preside over NWC, and even NEC. And what we saw a few days back was complete contempt of court on the part of Secondus by presiding over these organs of the party that threw up the new national chairman. So for us, I think the process is unacceptable.
What were the prayers of Mr. Gulak when he approached the court?
Well, Mr. Gulak went to court to ask the court to give people of the Northeast the chance to produce the new national chairman in replacement for Dr. Muazu. And that was not done after 3 months. And when the court gave him judgment, giving 14 days window, that the people of Northeast must produce somebody in place of Muazu, But after 14 days, that window was closed, which means that the position was no longer vacant. The secondus even went to court to seek for a stay of execution, and that stay of execution was struck out on the 27th of January, paving way for Gulak to assume duties.
So the way it is for you and those in your camp, who is the chairman of the PDP?
Well, there are two angles to it. For us, Gulak remains the chairman of the party because he has a value court judgment that has not been vacated.
So the process that took place 2 days ago doesn't mean anything to you?
Well, looking at the law, yes, that is what it says. Because that process was an abridgment of the law. Remember, we are an opposition party, and we will be seeking the indulgence of the court once our rights are trampled upon. For people who should know the law, should trample on the same law, I think it is a sad commentary for our political development.
Kindly enlighten us on how this is an abridgment or, refusal to obey the law.
Hello?
Yes, I asked you to kindly enlighten us on how this is an abridgment of the law.
Yes. You see, that December, the December 16th court judgment states clearly that Prince Use Secondus cannot preside over any of the organs of the party and therefore cannot act as a national chairman of the party. Now, the National Caucus, the NEC, and the NWC, these organs have all been presided over by him. And this was the process that threw up the event that you saw that led to the emergence, or the claimed emergence of Ali Modu Sharif.
So in other words, the PDP has gone back to its zoning formula, right?
Well, yes, I think the zoning, the court did not vitiate the zoning process. The court declared that it is the people of the Northeast that should produce a replacement for Mwazo. But that judgment, states clearly that it has to be within 14 days window, after which Barrister Gulak will assume duties as the new national chairman.
Whoa.
They went to court to try and stop Gulak by filing for stay of execution, and that stay of execution was struck out on the 27th. So for us, I think the processes should have been followed to the end. If for 8 months they couldn't produce, they couldn't find a replacement for Mwazo, is it in 3 days' time that they could find this replacement?
Mr. Mikko,
so for us, it is more about the processes.
Well, listen to you. I heard you say just now.
Itself.
You said that the court said the party should nominate somebody from the Northeast within 14 days. Then you also said after which Gulak will assume the position of the national chairman. How does that work? Did the court say they must nominate Gulak as the national chairman or the candidate from the Northeast?
Order three of the judgment certificate states clearly that only Gulak or any other person from the Northeast that can assume that position. Hello?
Yes, I can hear you. Are you saying then that the court...
Order three of the judgment certificates.
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Can you hear me? Order three of the judgment certificate states clearly that only Gulak or any other person, and they gave a window of 14 days. If within 3 months they cannot produce an acting national chairman from the Northeast, and another 14 days, the law cannot allow things to go on freely like that.
So I'm just
So
wondering.
Gulak himself assumed
Go ahead. Please go ahead. Okay, I don't think Mr. Mikko can hear us. Oh, Mr. Mikko, if you can hear us, I wanted to know if Mr. Gulak participated in the process that took place 2 days ago.
well, we were already in court, and there was no need. There was no need for Gulak to participate in that process because the court has already declared him national chairman, and there was no need to go through these processes again.
So he didn't show up to be reaffirmed by his own people, the people within the PDP, that he's actually the national chairman. Is that what you're saying?
Well, you can see that there was a gang up. There was a gang up against the court judgment and the candidacy of Barrister Gulak. So it was now almost impossible for us to begin to work with the same people who prevented him from assuming duties in the first place.
Well, is Mr. Gulak getting support from the national caucuses? Mr. Mikko, you know, you have two key, should I say, hierarchy here of the PDP. We also have the BOT and the national caucuses. Tell us if Mr. Gulak has the backing of the national caucuses. I'm afraid we lost the connection there with Mr. Mikko. Quite an interesting time for the People's Democratic Party. Just as they were bouncing back, we getting to see two factions.
He also needs to clarify because he therein said the court said they should nominate somebody from the Northeast as the party chairman. And then I'm reading some statement from the legal advisor of the party, Mr. Kwon, who said, well, the court did not ask us to name him as the chairman. So on what grounds is he going and declaring himself chairman? And so what about all the other processes? Because if the court says, well, nominate somebody from there, then he says, well, because they didn't within 14 days, I automatically get that nomination. Does that then mean they will not be subjected to the normal processes for which you become or you are then named as the party chairman? I mean, we've seen elections happen in some states. I think, was it Benue where you had one candidate? But INEC, they say, yes, you may be the only candidate, but we'll still have to go through the process of officially and formally declaring you as the candidate, even though that eventually was contested and some other persons came up. But we'll get, hopefully, Mr. Bernard Mikko back and put some of these permutations, especially reactions from the legal advisor. Well, he should be back now. Let's get back to him. Mr. Mikko, we're just looking through comments from your party's legal advisor, Mr. Kwon, who said the courts did not ask the party to name Mr. Gulak as the chairman of the party, so he cannot assume that position because he did not subject himself to the processes that will bring him up as the chairman.